When the purpose of a thing is not known, abuse is inevitable. Dr. Miles Monroe once said, and it echoes louder today than ever before. You see, when we don't know who we are, we begin to abuse not just ourselves, but each other, and even the very gift of life we've been given by God. We live in an age of lost identity, and with lost identity comes something even more dangerous, and that's lost morality. My name is Oluwagbemi Ajayi, and today I want to speak into a crisis that's shaping our world right now. This is very simple. When we lose sight of identity rooted in values, we lose the compass of morality. And without morality, leadership collapses, families fracture, communities decay, and entire nations drift aimlessly. You know, identity isn't just about labels or careers or cultures. It's about knowing who you are at the very core and knowing what you stand for. A value-based identity anchors you in truth, integrity, and purpose. But when identity is defined by trends, emotions, or popularity, morality gets redefined with it. And the results are chaos and compromise and confusion. And friend, if there's ever a time we needed clarity on this, it's right now. If this resonates with your values, go ahead and subscribe to our channel. We are building a community that lives with truth and lives with purpose. Now, let me break this down into 3 key insights. Number 1 is that identity defines morality. Think of identity as the root of a tree. If the roots are shallow, the tree will topple at the first storm. In the same way, if your identity is undefined, your morality will shift with every cultural wind. Look at history. Civilization that lost their moral compass always started by losing their sense of identity. Rome didn't collapse because of external enemies. It rotted from within. Have you seen trustworthy people you know before? The moment they begin to forget who they are, they start compromising what they believe. When identity is rooted in values, I mean values like truth, honor, responsibility, and compassion, in that case, morality as an anchor. But if your identity is built on applause, money, or how you feel in the moment, morality becomes negotiable. Number 2, a crisis of leadership is a crisis of identity. You know, you cannot give what you don't have. Every leader, either in politics, business, or family, or faith, they lead from who they are. The integrity of a leader flows directly from his identity. When a leader doesn't know who they are, they lead from insecurity. They are trying to please people, trying to secure what they have, and insecure leaders are dangerous. They use people instead of serving them. They sacrifice principles for power. They trade truth for popularity. And you know, history also shows us the opposite. Men and women who led with value-based integrity, they changed the world. Think of Nelson Mandela. Think of Mother Teresa or Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. They knew who they were and what they stood for. Their morality wasn't negotiable because their identity was rooted in values that transcended culture. Number 3 thing you need to note is that faith anchors identity. This isn't just about psychology, it's deeply spiritual. You and I are created with intention. The scripture tells us that we are made in the image of God. That means our truest identity isn't in what the world says about us, but in what God says about us. And when we return to that very foundation, morality finds its rightful place. You don't have to invent the wheel. You don't have to invent values. You discover them in the one who designed you. That's why faith matters. Without it, identity becomes a self-made project. And self-made identities collapse under prayer. So how do we rebuild identity-rooted values? Maybe you are asking. Let me give you 3 practical steps. Number 1, clarify your core values. Write them down Ask yourself, what do I stand for that I will never compromise, even if it costs me? That becomes the anchor of your identity. Like me, I stand for righteousness. I stand for holiness without which no man shall see the Lord. I stand for truth and integrity. You must be able to define what you stand for. Then number 2 is that you need to align yourself to those values. Look at your daily choices. Look at your relationships and leadership. Do they reflect your values? Integrity means alignment. Living in harmony with what you say you believe. That's very critical. If you say you believe in holiness and you lie at every temptation, then you need to check. Then number 3, return to your source. Spend time in reflection. Spend time in prayer or with scripture. Reconnect with the one who created you. Because there is nobody that can live a righteous life, a life pleasing to God on their own. The scripture says, for by flesh shall no man prevail. Scripture speaking in the book of Jude says that unto him that is able to keep you from falling. So that means God can actually keep us from falling. He can keep us from compromising our faith and our stand in whatever area of life. So return to him. Identity without source is like a tree without soil. It will not survive. Now I want you to ask yourself this question. If I love everything external, like title, money, recognition, would I still know who I am? My dear friend, the crisis we face today is not just political or cultural, it's personal. Lost identity leads to lost morality. But if you and I reclaim value-based identity, we don't just restore ourselves, we restore leadership, we restore families, and we restore the whole nations. So here's my challenge. Don't just listen to this message, live it. Take one value you know you've neglected and commit to realign your life with it this week. And then share your journey, leave a comment, start a conversation. Somebody out there needs to hear your courage. If this message challenged you, don't just move on, subscribe. This isn't just a channel, it's a call to rise above the noise, to stand for truth and to become the kind of leader this world desperately needs. I'll leave you with this thought. Identity gives birth to morality, and morality gives birth to destiny. Lose one and you lose them all. But anchor yourself in values that never change, and your life will leave a legacy that never fades. See you in our next video.